Hello, good afternoon everyone. So we're going to start with today's session, and we have made certain changes in today's session that those who are not able to join with the Zoom, now they are able to join with the Facebook Live. So I have started the Facebook Live and I have made it open to everyone. So it will be a good opportunity for all the students who were not there yesterday. So I will just going through it is just short review in the yesterday's lecture, and then we'll enter into the last part of the yesterday's lecture. So we'll go ahead with the short review. So warm welcome. And with the yesterday's lecture, the prophylaxis in homeopathy, we'll discuss certain things. कुठंतरी काहीतरी चुकतंय इथपासून आपण सुरुवात केली ती. वी हॅव स्टार्टेड विथ दॅट थिंग दॅट समवेअर समथिंग इज रॉंग. सो because everyone who is there in this session, everyone looks towards this COVID-19 as a disease, but not considering, not observing as a health, or not going towards the health. And that's why everywhere you will going to find it out that there is a problem. So I have given name to the topic as a starting, that कुठंतरी काहीतरी चुकतंय. मग काय चुकतं नेमकं हे महत्त्वाचं होतं, आणि म्हणून लेट अस टॉक ऑन द हेल्थ. आरोग्यावर बोलू काही. सो आय हॅव स्टार्टेड टॉपिक येस्टरडे विथ आरोग्यावर बोलू काही. लेट अस टॉक ऑन द हेल्थ, अँड वी हॅव डिस्कस सर्टन आस्पेक्ट एक्झॅक्टली व्हॉट इज हेल्थ, अँड देन व्हॉट आवर it is going on. I think Facebook Live, it is continued. Yes, it is already started with the Facebook Live. Watching, there are messages. Yes, the people are watching me on Facebook. So there are a number of people who have added over there in Facebook Live. So we have discussed about the Hahnemann's concept, that he is likewise the preserver of health. He knows the things that derange health and causes disease, and how to remove them in the persons of health. Every homeopathic physician should give importance to this aphorism, because if he understands what is health, then anyone can go to understand what is disease. So what is exactly mean by the health, that yesterday we have discussed. So health at all level, the physical level, the mental level, every aspect we have discussed, and how this is one of the important thing which is essential in order to understand. If you are able to maintain your health, you can prevent everything. And that's why instead of considering what disease is there are a number of viruses are around us, and no one is getting every time diseased because of their health. Those who become susceptible and their health is disturbed earlier, then virus causes a trouble. So why not to concentrate on this topic, and this is what I have given first reference to it. So I have divided this prevention, prophylaxis in homeopathy in 3 different sessions: the primary, the secondary, and tertiary. In the primary prevention, we have discussed in detail regarding the health promotion and specific protection in yesterday's lecture. So secondary prevention is nothing but the early diagnosis and treatment. It is not directly as a prophylaxis, but certain times it happens that certain people who suffers from the tuberculosis or diabetes, and if you are able to diagnose it early, you can prevent further complications, further progress, and that's why it can become a secondary prevention. And third point which we have discussed is tertiary prevention. And tertiary prevention, there are two important points which we have learned, that is disability limitation and the rehabilitation. So disability limitation, that is one of the important thing one should understand, because limit the disability, the person can live a life very nicely, and that's why that is also a one type of prevention or preventing a complication. And last point which we have discussed is rehabilitation of the patient. So again, the person who was deceased and again going to function again, that is one of the important thing that is also we have discussed in yesterday's lecture. These are the points which are at these levels we are considering, out of which the primary prevention, one first topic, health promotion, and that we have discussed at all level in yesterday's lecture, considering the proper nutrition, the basic sanitation, the personal hygiene, health education, physical education, sex education, marriage counseling, genetic counseling, all those things which are very important in order to remain healthy. These are most important thing. In fact, I will say that these, if you follow these, you can prevent any type of diseases. So proper nutrition, that also we have learned in detail yesterday's lecture. Basic sanitation is, this is the one of the important thing, because of which number of times number of disorders develop. Personal hygiene, yes, again matters a lot, and I have given one example that how at a small level or to the root level you can work and you can find it out how to maintain a personal hygiene. That also yesterday we have discussed. The health education and physical education, it is part and parcel of your practice, and that's why with every patient and with patient's attendance, you can discuss all those things whenever the time permits. That also plays very vital role in health promotion. Sex education, yes, number of patients comes to you and they have a problem with this, and that also we have discussed. Marriage counseling, genetic counseling, oh yes, all those points we have discussed. And then we have discussed that in aphorism number 77, Dr. Hahnemann mentioned about the pseudo-chronic diseases, and he mentioned all those things. These are the things which causes the diseases, and one can prevent disease just avoiding all those circumstances. So avoidable noxious influences, then habits of indulging or liquors or addictions, dissipation, persons who remaining in unhealthy locality, prolonged abstinence from the very important foods, persons remaining in marshy districts or cellars or confined dwellings. These are the things which generally disturbs the health and causes a disease. So who are the persons who are deprived of exercise or open air, who ruin their health by overexertion of mind and body, all those things used to cause a trouble. So this is what we have to understand, and that point we have discussed. Then we have discussed specific protection, and we have learned that specific immunization through homeopathic preventive medicines. The three types of immunities, the innate, the active and passive immunity, that we have discussed, that whenever you are giving homeopathic medicine in order to prevent a disease, it generally stimulates your innate immunity and makes you more healthy. If you are giving a similimum to the patient, depending on symptom similarity, it is a homeopathic remedy to the specifically to the patient. At that time, that active immunization plays a very vital role. At that time, active immunization produces atypical antibodies against that specific virus or bacteria or anything, parasites, and it cures the patient. Passive immunity also we have discussed. Passive immunity is born either borrowed from the mother through the mother's milk, or sometimes through the placental circulation, or sometimes this passive immunity you can take from by giving platelets or by giving certain immunoglobulins as a passive immunity. Then use of specific nutrients in certain specific disorders. So if a person suffering from tuberculosis, giving a very specific food containing proteins is very important. Such types of specific protection, then protection against occupational hazards, protection against the accidents, protection from the carcinogen or avoidable allergens. All those things in yesterday's lectures we have discussed with a lot of examples. Today we are going to learn something more than that. Then secondary prevention, early diagnosis and treatment, yes, that part also we have discussed. Tertiary prevention, both the things, disability limitation and rehabilitation, both we have covered. These are things which yesterday we have discussed, and we are here in yesterday's lecture to in the concluding part of this prophylaxis in homeopathy. But in fact, even though it is concluding part, this part plays a very vital role in order to understand exactly what is prophylaxis. The first part in prophylaxis is specific prophylaxis or a general prophylaxis. First, we'll define general prophylaxis today. General prophylaxis means giving anti-miasmatic remedy to our constitutional treatment, especially in children when they comes to you when they are very small, and you start their treatment taking whole case and understanding that whole that child right from miasmatic aspect, constitutional aspect, and you choose a remedy. And if you give that remedy to that child, that remedy not only cures his problem, but it boosts that child so strong, or makes that child so strong that all the miasmatic problems which used to happen at that time in future, whatever may be the disorders which can be possible in future, can be prevented because of such a remedy. So if in your OPD there are a maximum number of children which are present over there in your practice, it is a good thing that those children remains very healthy in their future, and that is called as a general prophylaxis with the help of a constitutional or anti-miasmatic remedy. The second part which is there in the general prophylaxis is by giving same anti-miasmatic or constitutional treatment, especially of the pregnant mother. Question arises, how this can be possible? Yes, it is possible, because whenever you are giving a remedy to the pregnant woman, at that time it is not only the woman will going to react, but through the placental circulation, so whatever is given to the mother is again reaching to the child also, infant inside the womb also. And that's why whenever you learn the Materia Medica, even Allen's keynotes, you open Allen's keynotes, and what Allen have written while explaining the Soranum. Hahnemann have mentioned that if you give a Soranum to a pregnant woman during the time of during gestational period, at that time that prevents the soric background or soric disorder in case of that newborn, and that's why that child becomes more and more healthy at the time of birth, and the diseased sora can be brought to a healthy sora whenever the child take a birth. So these are the different examples which are mentioned inside the books regarding this general prophylaxis. There are a number of people who have mentioned regarding this, those who have pointed out. So different peoples have tried, and that is ultimately it depends on experimentation. It depends upon their own utilization of the things, and they have written in the books regarding this. So general prophylaxis everyone knows, and that can happen only with the homeopathy, but the specific prophylaxis plays a very vital role over here. And today we have to discuss this by these two types about the prophylaxis. First important is that by specific homeopathic medicine, and second by genus epidemicus. Specific homeopathic medicine means a specific medicine finding it out for the purpose of specific disease. So that there are n number of people have highlighted regarding all those things. There are n number of people who have commented on this. So, for example, we have discussed that Pierre Smith, who has mentioned that Heparsulf is one of the important remedy which can be utilized to prevent the herpes zoster. Then Clark has recommended the arsenic album in 3 potency, 8 hourly for 2-3 days to prevent the influenza, or influenzinum 200 in 3 doses, explained by the Pierre Smith over there. So there are a number of people. So these are the people, these are the different examples which are mentioned over there as a specific prophylaxis. And there are number of nodes we have in our homeopathic materia medica which can be utilized for certain disorders. So morbillinum is there, typhoidinum is there, streptococcinum is there, staphylococcus is there. There are a number of medicines which are there in order to utilize as a specific prophylaxis, and this can be given only as a dose to the patient, so that it should not be repeated too much. Why it should not be repeated? Because if you are using the nozodes for the patient, these nozodes work as a stimulant. They are booster dose for your immune reactions. They stimulate the immune system, they stimulate the innate immune system. And because of that innate immunity, which is inborn immunity, which prevents at the general level, so that at all level this innate immunity fights. And if you stimulate this innate immunity, it definitely fights and it gives you a strength. And that's why giving a specific prophylaxis ultimately helps the patient in preventing such types of diseases. Then second, which is the hot issue, and the number of people are discussing about the genus epidemicus. The concept of genus epidemicus is generally wrong, and in a wrong way it has been understood or discussed. Basically, whenever you are considering genus epidemicus, yesterday also I have told that genus epidemicus is the remedy. Hahnemann told that unless and until you see a number of patients, or either you learn about that disease, about the hundreds of patients, you cannot come to the genus epidemicus. He explains that if, for example, any epidemic has been started, you start treating those patients individually. The way we used to do individualization in day-to-day practice, in the same manner you treat those patients. You find it out every time, the symptom similarity, you choose your remedy first for that specific patient. Every time you get a certain characteristics, and according to that characteristics, you find it out a simillimum for that specific patient. After examining a 50 patient, 60 patients, 70 patients, hundreds of patients, Hahnemann have used hundreds of patients. He says that after that you can get a common totality of that specific epidemic. So you get a certain totality out of them which is common in all those patients, and there is certain totality which is specifically related to that specific patient. So there are two groups of symptoms. One group of symptom is common to all the patient, and that is the totality of the epidemic. And one group of symptoms where you will get individualizing features of every patient. Individualizing features gives you a specific remedy for that specific patient, but a common totality which you get in such types of patient is specifically a totality. That totality is the epidemic totality, and on the basis of which after repertorization, after repertorizing that totality, or after going through the materia medica, you get a simillimum for that specific epidemic. That simillimum little bit varies with the peoples. If someone takes a certain group of symptoms, one can find it out. So there are variations in finding it out a genus epidemicus, because everyone is individual who looks towards the things in a different manner, and that's why there are little bit variations happens. So one might comes out for arsenic album, one might come out from the camphor, one might come out for the ginkgum miraticum, one might come for the Justicia. There are a number of people who have commented on this regarding the genus epidemicus. My thinking, my understanding of genus epidemicus is that out of which these are the remedies which you are giving. These remedies you are giving in potentized form. You are not giving a material arsenic album, you are not giving a camphor in material form, or Ginkgo muriaticum in material form, or Justicia in material form, in order to prevent the disease. If you are giving it in material form, it will going to produce a primary action and it will produce its own features. We are not giving these medicines in material form, but in fact we are giving it totally a dynamic doses. So first important thing, understand the concept of dynamics and concept of material. Unless you understand those concepts, you cannot understand what is the difference, why these four stimulus can produce a similar type of reaction. It is not going to produce a similar type of reaction, but it will react person's innate immunity to fight against anything. It is not specifically related with the COVID-19, or it is not specifically related with the swine flu. It is not related with the any type of influenza. It stimulates the innate immunity of the human being. Because you have given a dynamic stimulus. Keep in your mind, this is dynamic stimulus. So one should not forget regarding the dynamic stimulus. If it is a material, the action will be variable. So there are different types of reaction. But if you are giving dynamic stimulus, it is just a reaction. It is your body will going to react to that specific stimulus. It is not material which is entering in your body. I will give you one example how to differentiate between material and a dynamic. That concept one should learn very clearly. मी तुम्हाला एक गोष्ट सांगतो. आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल, वी हॅव ॲसिड नायट्रिक इन युअर मटेरिया मेडिका. Everyone knows acid nitric. If acid nitric in the material form, as if it is a concentrated acid nitric, is put on your tongue, what will happen? It will burn the whole tongue. There is one person who has died just now, and you put same acid, concentrated acid nitric on his tongue. What will be the action? It will produce again its primary action. He will going to do the same thing, that it burns or corrodes the tongue of that died person also. Now instead of this material nitric acid, you take a nitric acid 200 and put it on the healthy human being, and same nitric acid 200 you put in a dead person. What is the difference? Now there will be reaction which will, the person who is live, who is having susceptibility, who is healthy, will going to react to that stimulus, and he will, if you go on repeating, he will might show some specific reaction to the acid nitric stimulus, and you will get a functional symptomatology of the acid nitric. But in case of dead, you never get anything because there is no life. So if you put acid nitric 200, it is the reaction of the human being, dynamic human being, to that specific dynamic stimulus, because acid nitric was in a dynamic. So whatever may be the reaction is there, it never produces any pathology over there. It will produce a functional changes. So if you will consider arsenic album, if you will consider camphor, if you will consider Ginkgo muriaticum, if you will consider Justicia, or any remedy, that remedy given in a potentized form will going to stimulate his reaction of, or individual reaction of that human being. That is specifically related with any type of respiratory symptoms. It will going to produce certain features. It will not going to, unless and until you go on repeating, you will not going to get a feature of arsenic albums on the patient. Unless and until you going to repeat camphor, you will not get the camphor totality. If you just give a stimulus, your body will just react to it the way you react to the anyone's thoughts. For example, I will put a one thought in your mind, that around you, or whenever you are residing at places, all of a sudden the robbery started around in surrounding areas. It has not happened with you directly, but it has happened around you. तुमच्या आजूबाजूला चोऱ्या व्हायला सुरुवात झाली आणि तुम्हाला कळालं चोरी झाली आजूबाजूला. व्हॉट इज युअर रिॲक्शन? Whether everyone's reaction will be the same? No, everyone will react to the same situation in a different manner. Everyone will be cautious. काही रिॲक्शन्स ह्या कॉमन असतील की एव्हरीवन बिकम कॉशियस, एव्हरीवन विल ट्राय टू डू समथिंग टू फाईट अगेन्स्ट रॉबरी. सो दे क्लोज डोअर एव्हरी टाईम. Someone will come, someone will put more extra door over there, someone will put a camera over there, someone will ask some person over there, a gatekeeper over there. So there are a number of reactions happens to the situation according to the individuality. So whenever you put such types of just a thought is the stimulus, it is again a dynamic stimulus. So your reaction is there according to the situation. So in the similar manner, whenever you go on giving a homeopathic remedy in the dynamic form, the similar, it reacts at that certain level, the innate immunity with its innate immunity to fight against the situation. It will not do anything specific for COVID-19 or specific for the influenza. It is a general thing, general reaction, general strength of that human being happens to be there, and that general reaction will prevent any type of attack on the body. Or if it happens, the severity of the attack will be less because your immune system is already in the boost phase. That is the concept of a genus epidemicus. So you don't fight between you that someone says like that, someone says first important thing, whatever you are giving is just a dynamic stimulus, it is not a material stimulus, so it never matters too much. Yes, it matters only thing that it should be a very specific remedy for that specific type of reactions. So if you are choosing a remedy depending on the which has a capacity to produce its own symptoms at the respiratory tract, yes, definitely those types of reactions happens to be there in your body. So this is what one must understand. It is not a primary action through which your remedy is acting. It is specifically a secondary reactions from your body, from your vital force, from your immune system, which is playing a role over there, and it becomes active so that you can prevent diseases. There are a number of questions which arises, and my colleague Dr. Shishir Paranspe, he has asked few questions yesterday regarding this topic. He has said that, sir, it happens that I have sat with one of the senior colleague, senior homeopath from our area, and he used to tell that and he has given two examples because he himself had attended those patients, and the person who was suffering from the severe acid peptic trouble, and patient came to him and he has given certain specific remedy, and then patient again came after 5 minutes, sir, I like a batate vada too much, shall I eat? And that fellow said, yes, you can, don't worry. And he was so sure. So question arises in my mind, sir, how can you do that? Or second example he has given regarding the case of jaundice, and a person who was in a very acute emergency at that time, and that emergency he has handled with specific lycopodium immediately after looking to the patient, and he said that whatever he wants to eat, let him eat. So these are two questions he has asked me regarding. So this is first important thing what I want to say over there. Yes, that a perfect simillimum with perfect potency itself is a good prophylaxis. This is one important thing which I want to share with you, that this is most important thing. Yes, if you are absolutely clear about your remedy and potency, yes, you can give that and it works, and it itself is a preventive, so that that person is able to adapt everything and he can prevent from those things. So that is first important thing which he has mentioned. So that is the answer for it. And second important question, the two questions which he has mentioned over there. First is homeopathy acts on symptom similarity. So if there are number of symptoms, there are no symptoms, then how can it act? Maybe as a prophylactic. That is first question. Second question was, one answer is given like after giving homeoprophylactic medicine, it creates certain picture in the body which repels the upcoming one if it will be there. How authentic is? These two questions I want to discuss with you. First, already I have given the answer about it, that if there are no symptoms, you are not giving a similimum to the patient. You are giving probable totality on the basis of which you are giving a remedy to the patient. There is, in those people who are on the Zoom, there will be a discontinuation of the meeting because only less than 1 minute is remaining. What we'll do, we'll take a 5 minutes break so that he will again join, and same for those people who are on Facebook Live. I will stop, I will finish this, and after 5 minutes we'll again join with this same slide, so that there will be no problem for everyone. Okay, so I ask Vinod to leave the meeting or to stop the meeting for time being and start it within a minute or two, so that again everyone will get joined.